An attack at the Pulse Disco in Orlando. But volunteers from all over the city come together to lend a hand to the families of the victims and to police.
A UN refugee camp in Tunisia. Many thousands find their way to new homes, but several dozen Africans refuse to leave. We'll tell you why.
And an exhibition in Lagos by two artists who address issues such as climate change, education and domestic violence. Africa 54 starts right now. Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent McCory of the Voice of America, coming to you from our global headquarters in Washington.
And I'm Cynthia Are, Channels Television here in Lagos. Stay with us in the next half hour for a variety of news and stories from Nigeria and the world.
Well, since the horrific terror attack at the Pulse Disco in Orlando, thousands of volunteers have been helping families of the victims and police officers guarding the crime scene in Florida. Viewers Ramon Mamonov reports from Orlando, as narrated now by Joy Wagner.
So what do we have here? We have pizza from a pizzeria right around the corner. Okay. We have all different kinds of sandwiches and dips and cheeses from gas stations. Wawa. We have...
This is not a restaurant menu, and Ryan is not a waiter. He and his colleagues work at a hardware store a few blocks away from Pulse. A few hours after the attack, employees of different stores called one another and decided to donate food, drinks, tables, and tents to those who over the next few days would work tirelessly without sleep.
And my guys called me early this morning and said, "What do you think?" I said, "I think it's a great idea." He said, "We're not very busy because we don't have all the roads are blocked." I said, "It's a great idea." It all started out trying to help the police officers. It was what we thought we were going to do to start, but we had so much came in. We said, "Let's help the media so they could do their job."
Robin Maynard is the head of a breast cancer foundation in Orlando. Robin and her friends know what it's like to fight for your life and how important it is to help those who grieve.
We're closed today, so our employees are out getting water, ice, trying to give umbrellas, sunscreen. We've got some pet rescues that are willing to help the victim's family with their pets, just out trying to give back. We come together as a community. We are heartbroken, but our spirit is not broken.
For Angela Krismer, the first day after the tragedy was filled with prayers, anxious phone calls, and a desire to support her son. That night, his friends were partying at the club. They survived, and Angela decided to help those who will be keeping watch for a while.
We just decided to come down here today and kind of help out because I know a lot of these people can't leave. So we figured the best we could do is maybe offer them a little bit of lunch to kind of help a little bit.
Immediately after the tragedy, the Center, a local community organization, launched an internet campaign that by Tuesday evening had raised more than $4 million for the victims and their families.
With 100% going back to the families. None of those families that have people in the hospital are going to have to worry about a hospital bill, burial costs, whatever. Everything is going to be covered for those family of the victims in that club or in the hospital.
Some funeral homes have offered their services free of charge. An airline will provide free flights to those relatives who live out of state. Psychologists are volunteering to help local residents deal with the panic and shock. Many of them are scared to leave their homes and be in a public place. Everyone has the same message: we are tough and resilient. Orlando will survive because we are a community. For Ramon Mamonov in Orlando, I am Joy Wagner, VOA News.
Now, since 2011, conflict has driven many Libyans away from their country. 300,000 people ended up at a refugee camp in Tunisia. Many found their way to new places to call home. But several dozen Africans whose asylum applications were rejected refused to leave. Lisa Bryant reports.
Several kilometers from Tunisia's Ras Jadir border with Libya, drivers are greeted by this: "Welcome to Choucha camp," or what's left of it. Liberian Roland Margai Keller says he fled his country's unrest 20 years ago, eventually making his way to Libya. But in 2011, he joined the surge of people fleeing Libya's civil war and ended up here. Now he depends on food and water donated by drivers passing by.
shake the bottle, Libyan stop, and give her food, water, and some cash, maybe 10 dinar, 5 dinar. Because the situation almost 5 years now. It's just getting tough and tough.
Keller claims he's a refugee, but the United Nations rejected his asylum application. He says it's too dangerous to return to Liberia.
This is the situation. The situation is complicated, so we need a solution. Nothing, no ear, deaf ear to it.
3 years after the UN officially closed Choucha camp, about 50 men from different parts of sub-Saharan Africa still live here. Like Keller, they say they have legitimate asylum claims. The UN disagrees, and nobody wants to go home. Ibrahim Isaac from Darfur, Sudan, shows a visitor around his home.
The United Nations must find a solution for us. We're tired of staying in Choucha.
So the men remain, and the passing years have offered no new solutions. Lisa Bryant for VOA News, Choucha, Tunisia.
Well, South Africa is marking 40 years since the Soweto student uprising, a pivotal event in the fight against apartheid. As the nation looks back on the protests, both old and young say their nation is better for it, but still far from perfect. VOA's Anita Powell reports.
Joy in a place that has seen so much tragedy. This square was the scene of one of South Africa's darkest chapters, the 1976 Soweto uprising. Some 20,000 high school students marched to protest the apartheid government's insistence on teaching in the Afrikaans language. Police opened fire on the marching children. Estimates vary on how many children were killed. Some go as high as 700. One of the first victims was 13-year-old Hector Peterson. That fateful day, June 16th, is now celebrated as Youth Day. Many of the surviving students are now grandparents, but the memory has never left them.
When the shooting started, I was not sure it was a gun. It sounded like a cracker. Until I saw a boy was next to me bleeding from the hand. Then it's when I realized that actually these people are shooting. They are using a live ammunition. Students ran into the neighboring houses. Police followed by throwing tear gases around there.
Those horrors seem distant for today's children, but they say they are grateful for the sacrifices made by those who came before them.
Let us thank them for what they did for us, because we have freedom. We can do everything in this country.
The older generation says the efforts were worthwhile. When she was a student activist, Florence Kanye says she and her friends were repeatedly jailed and beaten.
It was worth it because what we fought for, what the other student that died fought for, at least we do have the freedom now that we were fighting for. Yes.
Young and old agree that South Africa has yet to live up to the ideals those students originally sought. Last year, university students held protests demanding free education. Protesters say the government's failure to support them is effective economic apartheid. The debate continues. The struggle, veterans say, remains the essential role of the youth. They have the rage, the time, the energy to keep up the fight, and hopefully make tomorrow's South Africa a better place. Anita Powell, VOA News, Johannesburg.
We want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54. And check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Coming up, the need to replace crude oil as Nigeria's top export could be returning agriculture to prominence. We'll tell you how after the break.